Welcome to Quiet Horror. Tonight's story is called The Apartment. When I was in university in Korea, I had a classmate named Mina. We ended up in most of the same classes, so we became friends. She was nice, and I liked her, but I always noticed that she might be a little jealous of me. Whenever I did well on an exam or a guy noticed me, something shifted in her expression for just a moment. But it was so subtle, and her bright smile would return so quickly that I told myself I was imagining it. Then one semester, everything fell apart at once. My landlord gave me notice with almost no warning. I had just 2 weeks to find a new place to live. I was a student with very little money, and affordable housing near campus was impossible to find. I looked everywhere and found nothing. I was starting to panic, wondering if I was going to be homeless. That's when Mina offered to help. She said she was moving back to her parents' house, which was news to me. Her apartment was close to campus, the rent was low, and she said she'd rather sublet it to someone she knew than deal with the penalty for breaking the lease early. She said she was going to leave all the furniture behind, which was perfect for me. I wouldn't even need to buy anything. It felt like the solution to every problem I had. I accepted without hesitation, and I moved in on a Saturday. For the first few days, everything seemed fine. The apartment was small but comfortable. I was just so relieved to have a place, but by the end of the first week, I started sleeping badly. I kept waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning, screaming from nightmares. Sometimes, it felt like I wasn't even sleeping and was still having a nightmare. It always started the same. I would be lying in the bed in the dark, and slowly I would become aware that things were gathering around me. Dark figures, too many to count, pressing in from every side of the bed. I couldn't move or speak. I could only lie there and feel the weight of them getting heavier and heavier until I woke up gasping. I started doing badly in class. I couldn't concentrate, couldn't retain anything I studied. I started losing weight. I got sick twice in the same month, and my doctor couldn't figure out why. My friends told me I looked pale. I kept thinking there was something wrong with the apartment, maybe mold or bad air or something I couldn't see. So I cleaned everything, but nothing changed. The nightmare came every night without exception. Then one night, my grandmother appeared in the dream. She'd been dead for 3 years, but in my dream, she stood right next to the bed. She looked the same as I remember her, except she looked frightened. I've never seen her like that before. She was pointing at the bed, directly beneath where I was lying, and she was saying something I couldn't hear. I could see her lips moving, but there was no sound. She kept pointing at the bed, kept trying to tell me something, her face getting more urgent. And then I woke up. I sat in the dark for a very long time after that. In the morning, I pulled the mattress off the bed frame. I don't know why, but I felt a strange urge to do it. I don't know exactly what I was looking for. Maybe nothing. Maybe I was just going crazy. I checked the underside of the mattress and found nothing. Then, I looked at the bed frame itself, running my hands along the wooden frame, and taped to the underside of it, where no one would ever see, was a small piece of yellow paper covered in red ink. I knew immediately what it was. It was bujeok, which was like a form of Korean talisman. I had grown up seeing it in temples, on door frames, in my grandmother's kitchen. These were used for protection, for good luck, or for warding off bad things. But this one felt different. I couldn't understand what the symbols meant, but I somehow knew that they didn't mean anything good. I took it to a mudang, which is like a Korean spirit medium or shaman. She looked at it without touching it, and then she looked up at me. She said that this particular bujeok was designed to invite spirits in, not to protect the person sleeping in that bed, but to attract evil to cause harm. I moved out that weekend. The nightmares stopped the first night I slept somewhere else. My grades came back. I finally felt like myself. I never confronted Mina. When I told her I was moving out, she was quiet for a moment. Then she asked, "Was there something wrong with the apartment?" The way she asked that question seemed strange to me. Her voice was softer than usual, almost nervous. And I couldn't tell if she was worried about me or worried that I had found something. Did she leave because she went through the same thing? Or I thought about telling her the truth and confront her, but I just couldn't. I kept thinking about that piece of paper hidden under the mattress, taped so carefully underneath the frame where I would never think to look. Someone had put it there, and I didn't know who. And also, maybe I just didn't want to know. If this story stayed with you, there's more waiting. Subscribe to Quiet Horror.